Hey, what's up, Cigars Daily Nation? This is Terrence Riley from Aganorsa Leaf. I've come to Arizona for two reasons. One, because I love you guys and I love the Cigar Daily Nation. And two, to make sure that Tim keeps his sacred vow to me. We got him an Aganorsa jacket, customized to his liking. And he promised, simple promise, to never take it off and wear it every day for the rest of his life. And I'm here to make sure that promise has been kept. Hey, I'm here to see Tim.
Terrence Riley. Hold on, one second. Tim! Terrence Riley is here. Oh no! Tim, where's the jacket? It's on the door behind you, Terrence. Dear God.
Listen, I can explain, and I'm really sorry. And also, what?
Tim, no, you made a promise.
Is there anything I can do?
There is.
Hey everybody, I'm Tim here with Aganorsa's 10x100. You're watching Cigars Daily. Get more out of this in all our videos when you join the community on Cigars Daily Plus and when you watch this on Rumble. Before I start this review, I only feel like it's responsible to make sure that there's enough fuel in my lighter. This is an undertaking that I have got to consider really carefully because this is a cigar I have said on many occasions I do not recommend. It's the kind of cigar you shouldn't smoke unless you've lost a bet and it is the consequence, or your very good friend Terrence Riley caught you with it not wearing the jacket that you promised to wear for all eternity. It's a cigar that's so big, it's not just ridiculous, it's redonky-diculous. It's just absolutely profoundly massive. Now, I'll say this though about it. I've heard from people who have had the cigar that they have enjoyed it. And I would tell you about the blend, but that feels sort of insane. It feels like the idea of going to the Heart Attack Cafe and getting a 5-pound meat sandwich and then being like, oh, there's boar's head meat on there, sir. It doesn't matter at a certain point. The quantity is so vast that it's just like, okay, am I going to survive through this thing? But here I am, and to atone for what I've done and taking off my jacket and walking around jacketless, I'm going to take you guys through this massive cigar. And I will tell you, the wrapper on this is a Mexican San Andreas, not a super dark one. On the inside, we've got some fillers from Nicaragua. Of course, it's somehow filled with Aganorsa's world-famous leaf. And I want to take us through this today and see if I make it through alive. And the only way to find out is with a cut and a light. Well, right here at Light Up, I gotta say the 10x100 presents a lot of interesting issues for a very large cigar. First of all, I'm going to talk about the normal things I talk about in a review, and they just are all a little different going after a cigar of this size. Going back to this 5-pound meat sandwich I talked about before, you might eat a regular sandwich and say, wow, that was really good. But if you eat a 5-pound meat sandwich, you're going to say, dear God, I'm going to die. This right here, the draw is, it feels like a tough draw. It's not a tight draw. It's not a loose draw. It's just some work to draw on the cigar. The volume of area on the foot of the cigar is so big that it just requires extra effort. Now, if you guys know this, a 1 inch foot of a cigar would be a 64 ring, which means a 6-inch by 60 cigar is just under 1 inch in diameter at the foot. at the same time, that means that this is like round 1 1/3 inches across at the foot. It's considerably more space to draw through. There's a lot of girth here and plenty of length to draw through, which just creates a little bit more effort to try to get that draw. That being said, it's rolled well enough that like the draw seems reasonable for the size of cigar that this is. In terms of flavor right here at Light Up, I mean, we talk about consistency, how much of the flavor comes to life right at Light Up. I don't know how much to expect in terms of a profile with this cigar, but it does seem like it might take some more or less time to get into everything that there is in this blend. I mean, even right here at Light Up, I haven't even really barely touched the edge of the wrapper with the lighter and sort of got it going. So I don't even think I'm getting full wrapper influence at this point. I just got to make sure that it's lit evenly all the way around. So I started off just right. I mean, let's just jump into the first third and see where this takes us. Well, the first third of this has had some development, and that development has been my anxiety. This is a tough cigar. All right, I'm going to give this to you. The flavor profile on this is relatively basic. There's some woods, there's some almonds, there's a like back of the throat spice, it's like a 1. Retrohale, I don't even know why we're talking about it. It's a lot of work to draw on this cigar. It's a thing that I find is an issue, especially with large ring cigars. And I've done a couple other like novelty cigars like this that are just, I mean, the physics doesn't really enter the equation when you're talking about a cigar like this. The physics of a good draw or a good burn or a good ash. In fact, this one already had a horrifically bad burn. And I think part of the reason for that is that when I sit down to keep this thing going, I feel like I have to draw on it a few times to get it like stoked up again because the ring gauge is so big. Like the cherry on the end that you are servicing as you're drawing on this thing it's just so big that it's a lot of work. And so I find like a canoe down one side, just not burning exactly right. And the ash, I mean, this ash is really flaky, so I'm probably not gonna like leave it on to see how long the ash stays on the dang cigar because it's just sort of like flaking off. If I tap it like this, you're gonna see little bits and chunks of it just like raining down on the table here. It is holding a decent ash though, I gotta say. I did touch up the burn a little bit here, but there's just so much more work to do that, dear God, let's jump into the second third and see where this takes us. Okay. After a good portion of the second third, I am like almost 3 hours into the 10 by 100 here, and I have to say, it's starting to leave a little bit of what I normally refer to as a finish, but I'm going to call this a bit of an aftertaste. I mean, the flavor profile on this, I don't know how to describe it. It's basically cigar. That's the flavor. Like, you find something that says the flavor is cigar. That's basically what it tastes like. It's very generally cigar. And it's not a super dirty, like, bitter or anything like that flavor. Although, as I get here into this, like, get into the final third, that aftertaste is starting to get a little, like, it's maybe wearing on me a little bit. But all the way through the second third, I had issues with the wrapper. I don't really have a lot of good things to say right now. This has been a bit of a slog for me. The wrapper leaf is cracking all the way around the burn here, which, by the way, I've had to touch up pretty much constantly. Again, not a tremendous amount of good things to say. A crack sort of started developing through the second third and then just kind of like made its way around the cigar, and now it's really quite cracky. Now, of course, take a look at the wrapper on this with me. The one thing I can say is quite impressive about this cigar is the consistent shade of color and wrapper leaf for such a huge cigar. I'm not sure this is one leaf going around this cigar. I know what the size of these leaves are, and this thing seems to have like more surface area than one leaf would have, but nonetheless, the thing's got a very consistent look, and once again, is just obscenely big. If somebody had like a desktop humidor at home, this might not even fit inside of the thing. It's just overwhelmingly huge and gimassive. It's got the JFR band on it. That's easy to see. You know they had to print special bands for this. A baby could wear this as a bracelet. It's absolutely massive. Okay. I want to take this now into the final third. It's just flaking all over my desk here. Let's take this into the final third and, of course, see where it takes us and what kind of score it gets. Okay. Here we are in the final third, and I'm going to call it. I'm going to call this one right here. My smoking time on this has been, what is it? Like 5 hours, 5-ish hours. I have got to do math to figure out how long this has been. Right now, this is not producing an experience. I don't even call it an experience. I would say that this happened to me. This, in the final third, has got some heat. All those flavors have congealed into, I don't even want to call it strength. It's just power at this point. It's just spitting out full strength power. And the result, what I previously called sort of an aftertaste, is just this sort of ashy feeling all around my palate here. It's all wiped out. There's going to be a cleansing. I'm going to have to go see a priest to cleanse my palate at this point in the cigar. Surprisingly, though, right underneath the burn, it's not terribly hot. That's actually an impressive sign of construction. All the way through, though, my impression of the 10x100 is much as it was when I first saw the thing. This is not anything that anyone should smoke, like, unless it's a consequence, like you lost a bet or something like that. My final score on this came out to a 55. That is the lowest score I've ever given to anything, but really the score is designed to measure the experience, the all-around experience of a cigar. And this, like, so much of this is outside of the parameters. Where is my actual book? So much of this is outside of the parameters of what I like, of what produces an experience for me. I'm looking at this. This thing lost profound points in almost every area. It actually scored almost perfectly on presentation because the wrap relief here, the band, like the whole design of the thing was good. Everywhere else, it just lost, I mean, huge points. Consistency is terrible because in the final third, it really, like, what was there for a profile really dropped away. And again, a cigar fit for a party gag, and that's about it. Maybe a bachelor party. I don't know. If you're going to Tijuana, take one or two along. But this thing has been a hell of a thing, and an interesting way to use Aganorsa's world-famous leaf. But of course, I want to hear from you guys. What is the most obnoxious thing you've ever lit up? Put that down in the comments below. I would love to hear more about that from you. This thing is a part of my day, a part of my year that I shan't soon forget. And of course, also check this video out on the community on Cigars Daily Plus and on Rumble. Thanks again so much for watching. This is Tim signing off for Cigars Daily, and I will see you in the comments.